J-Dev is back at it, here to give everyone my official UFC 254 post-fight recap. Before I talk about the card itself, it's important, if you don't want to know who wins and don't already know who wins, to not watch the rest of this video to avoid things like spoilers. So we'll start this off with where I actually started paying more attention to the card, and that would be in the heavyweight division, where you had Alexander Volkov versus Walt Harris. Alexander Volkov ends up winning the fight and finishes Walt Harris. Walt Harris, I feel, is a little overrated, a guy who should probably not be ranked as high as he is. He's more of a top 15 guy, but I don't think Walt Harris is a top 10 guy. It is unfortunate because Walt Harris, is still dealing with the tragic murder of his stepdaughter, and he hasn't won since then. He lost to Alexander. He lost to Alistair Overeem, and he lost to now Alexander Volkov. So I think Volkov is really good. If he developed more of a killer instinct, he could be even better. And I think at some point, someday, Volkov will get a title shot. I think he's going to put a string of victories together and earn a title shot one day. I don't know when, but I just have a feeling Volkov's better than people give him credit for. Next up in the UFC middleweight division, we had Robert Whittaker versus Jared Cannonier. A lot of people were going the opposite way on this fight. Everybody and their mother were saying Jared Cannonier was going to beat Robert Whittaker. I did not say that. I said Robert Whittaker was going to win, and Robert Whittaker did win. In fact, I thought he almost finished Cannonier when Cannonier kind of did a face plant. I don't know if he lost his balance or something, but he face planted into the mat at one point. But he didn't get finished. It ended up going to a decision. Cannonier tried to empty out the gas tank at the last couple minutes of the fight, but it still went against the fence, and he wasn't able to do anything really damaging to Whittaker. And Whittaker looked really good with his jab and kind of this karate style that he was doing in the fight, I think. If I'm wrong on that, it kind of looked like a variation of a more bouncy Stephen Thompson in that. So Robert Whittaker looked good, and he definitely, in my opinion, deserves another shot at Israel Adesanya. In fact, he deserves a rematch for his title that Israel Adesanya currently has in his possession. So I expect that fight to be an entertaining fight if they go again. I think Robert Whittaker has a chance to beat Adesanya, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, honestly, I would like Adesanya to stay perfect and John Jones not to lose a fight. Although the Reyes fight, judges were nice, but I have 3 rounds for Reyes. Jones only won 2. In any event, those two officially don't have a loss by a decision or knockout or submission. If they fight, that could be a huge fight for the UFC. So, and then of course we have the main event of the evening, Justin the Highlight Gaethje versus Khabib the Eagle Nurmagomedov, and it was a really fun fight. It only lasted a little over 1 round. Khabib ends up winning in the second round by submission, but Gaethje looked good. He was hurting Khabib, but Khabib put on a huge amount of pressure, and he was actually striking with Gaethje and just going right at it, which you don't expect him to do. But obviously Khabib is a lot better than I gave him credit for. He's certainly one of the GOATs of all time now. He's beaten Conor McGregor. He's beaten Dustin Poirier. He beat Gaethje. I just hadn't seen him fight any, the fights I've seen him fight were the Edson Barboza and Ali Quinta, and the fight against Michael Johnson. But Khabib is definitely good, and then, with dealing with the loss of his father, and then Khabib, retires after the fight. There's no GSP call out. He just simply retires because he doesn't want to continue on, and he made a promise to his mother that, he has to finish this stuff with Gaethje, and then it will be it for him. So he retires 29-0. I don't think Khabib is going to come back, simply due to the fact that with the circumstances behind this. But what a class act by both fighters, Gaethje and Khabib, to show each other a lot of respect. And this is how fighting should be. You got people that talk a lot of shit in the business, like a Chael Sonnen, like a Nate Diaz, like a Colby Covington, and Conor McGregor, who make themselves a villainish, and then it turns into a war where people should just have a good fight as the war, and not this this banter back and forth. In fact, there should be a code of conduct in the UFC, and with the class that Justin Gaethje showed, and then Khabib Nurmagomedov showing Gaethje class as well, and saying you helped me cut weight once, and that was just, it was actually touching. I can appreciate that, and hats off to Khabib. He definitely is. I would say he's the GOAT of the lightweight division right now. I don't think you can argue anybody else. I mean, he hasn't fought Tony Ferguson, and maybe he would have lost to Ferguson, as it's a different style of fight, and Ferguson's really good with the jiu-jitsu, but that fight probably will never happen. I mean, I could see Khabib coming back if he gets the GSP fight, but I don't know. At this point, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Khabib is he's done. He's going to retire undefeated and probably get put number one pound for pound until John Jones wins the heavyweight title from Stipe or Francis Ngannou. And, hats off to Khabib, hats off to Dana White for putting a really good card together. UFC 255 isn't looking the most exciting as of this moment, but Justin Gaethje says he's ready to fight 6 weeks approximately. Maybe we have the fight for the lightweight title, Gaethje versus Poirier 2, or Gaethje versus McGregor, or Gaethje versus Michael Chandler, or Gaethje versus Ferguson 2. I don't know what they're going to do, but, it's weird to have UFC 254 in the afternoon. It doesn't seem right that I'm doing a video recapping the card, although I waited a long time to do the video because I just kind of was drained, but I hope everybody enjoyed it. Everybody needs to give props to Gaethje. Everybody needs to give props to Nurmagomedov for what they've done and how much class they showed, and hopefully other fighters can take that in and act more like that. But obviously Colby Covington will not, and neither will Conor. Conor will act the same, and I don't know if Conor even wants to fight anymore. I think he just wants to be a loose cannon that randomly does whatever the fuck he wants to do. They both belong in WWE, along with Chael Sonnen and maybe the Diaz. Well, I don't know about the Diaz's, but I don't know. But there is UFC. There is my UFC 254 recap. Leave a comment with your thoughts on the card, what you thought of it, what you thought of the main event, who you wanted to win, and what you thought would happen. I still like the way that Jason Herzog, the official, made sure that Gaethje was out before he stopped the fight. I know some will be mad about that, but I like that, because if Gaethje wasn't tapping, that would have been like, really? Oh, man, not again. So, anyway, hope you guys like the fight. Leave your comments. Smash the like button if you're a fight fan. Don't forget to share the video with anybody. And, of course, hit that sub button. Join the team, show your support, and be a part of something special. And J-Dev will return.